Descend with us into the darkest regions of the ocean. A place where sunlight vanishes, pressure crushes steel, and life evolves into forms that feel unreal. For centuries, sailors told stories of massive tentacles rising from black water, ships dragged under, crews disappearing, legends dismissed as fear and imagination. But today, science is uncovering something unsettling. In the deepest zones of the ocean, there are real animals capable of matching those legends in size, strength, and behavior. Creatures built not for the surface world, but for permanent darkness. For pressure so extreme it reshapes biology itself. This is not mythology. This is not speculation. This is the real ecosystem of the deep ocean and the animals that rule it. If you're not afraid, subscribe and take a breath. And let's go deeper. The exploration of the deep starts at the surface, in the sunlit zone of the ocean called the epipelagic zone. This is where the sea is most familiar to humans. Sunlight shines through readily. Plants grow, fish swim and see. Life in this zone obeys the laws we understand. But as we go deeper, these laws start to fail. At about 200 meters, sunlight becomes scarce. Colors disappear. Reds go first, then yellows, until the world is a cold spectrum of blue and black. This marks the boundary of the Twilight Zone, a place that exists between visibility and darkness. Here, life no longer requires stealth and speed to survive. It requires the ability to detect motion, to feel vibrations, and to exploit the power of light itself. Many creatures in this zone are invisible to the naked eye. Some have transparent bodies that reflect light instead of absorbing it. Others have weak bioluminescence, not to see in the dark, but to make themselves invisible from below. This is called counter-illumination. This is where the first signs of radical evolution emerge. Squids in the Twilight Zone are no longer mere hunters. Their bodies are less dense, their muscles are more efficient, their eyes become grossly oversized, attuned to detect even the faintest hint of motion in the dark. Each meter that follows presses the water harder. Each adaptation becomes more and more specialized. And below this zone is a place where aggression takes the place of avoidance, and encounters become much more deadly. Because below this zone, in the darker water, lurks one of the ocean's most fearsome predators. But below the rim of the Twilight Zone, life becomes more immediate. It is here that encounters are no longer avoided. They are faced. One of the most ferocious predators in this area is the Humboldt squid, a quick-moving cephalopod that thrives in low light and increasing pressure. Fishermen know it as the Red Devil, not as legend, but as fact. Unlike most other squids, Humboldt squids are known to hunt in large groups. Dozens, sometimes hundreds, of them moving together through the darkness. They communicate through rapid flashes of red and white on their skin. These patterns seem to coordinate their movements and keep them at a safe distance from one another. But aggression is their hallmark. Humboldt squids have been observed attacking prey that is nearly their own size. When food is scarce, they have been known to attack injured members of their own kind. Cannibalism, in this case, is not uncommon. It is merely a means of survival. Their bodies are attuned to constant combat. Each of their 8 arms is lined with strong suckers that are rimmed with hardened teeth. At the end of each is a sharp beak that can rip flesh. Their muscular bodies are designed for quick bursts of speed, perfect for short encounters in low light. But brute force is not the only thing they possess. Humboldt squids are attuned to vibrations, pressure waves, and movement in the water. Divers have reported being stalked and watched as if they were aware of their surroundings. But even these formidable predators have their limitations. As depth increases, oxygen levels dwindle, temperatures drop, and pressure builds to levels that test the boundaries of life itself. and below this zone is a darker area still, where encounters are rare and a much stranger squid lurks almost undetected. Below the twilight zone is an area where sunlight has never been known to exist. This is the midnight zone, an area of eternal darkness, crushing pressure, and freezing temperatures. In this zone, vision becomes unreliable. To survive here, one must rely on touch, vibration, and chemical detection. Life in the midnight zone is sparse, but what life does exist here is highly specialized. One of the most bizarre creatures ever recorded in these depths is a squid called Promachoteuthis. It is a rare creature, poorly understood, and almost never seen alive. Most information about this creature has been gleaned from fleeting encounters recorded by deep-sea cameras. Its appearance is chilling. The body is stout and muscular. The limbs are short, stout, and end in appendages that resemble hard, tooth-like protrusions. These are not teeth, but rather hardened tissues that are used to grasp and manipulate prey in the dark depths. Unlike squids found in more temperate zones, Promachoteuthis shows none of the characteristics of rapid, swift motion. Its physiology indicates a slower, more deliberate lifestyle. It conserves energy. It moves little. Every action is calculated and precise. This squid does not hunt. It waits. In the midnight zone, prey is scarce and unpredictable. When the opportunity arises, it must be taken with absolute precision. There is no time for wasted motion, no tolerance for error. The biology of Promachoteuthis indicates this fact. Its tissues are thick and pressure resistant. Its eyes are small and energy efficient. Its body is dense and resistant to the crushing weight of the water above. Encounters with this creature are rare. Each one is more question than answer. And below the midnight zone, in an area even more extreme, is an environment where even these specialized traits seem inadequate. Because below this point is an area where life itself becomes almost alien. But far beneath the surface, where resources are limited and encounters are rare, size itself becomes a benefit. One of the most famous denizens of the deep is the giant squid, an animal that lived unseen for centuries, known only by the scars on whales and the pieces that washed up on shore. The giant squid is not a swift creature. It is not an aggressive one by nature. It lives by scale, with a body 2 meters long and arms that can extend much, much farther. The giant squid is the longest known invertebrate. Its body is designed for endurance, not speed. Long feeding arms allow it to reach out and snatch unsuspecting prey from a distance, all without expending much energy in a world where every movement counts. Its eyes are some of the largest in the animal kingdom, some larger than a human head. These eyes are designed not for detail, but for detection. In conditions that are all but pitch black, they are attuned to pick up the slightest changes in bioluminescent light, often generated by the movement of large bodies through the water. This is not an accident. The giant squid does not need to see its prey clearly. It only needs to know when something huge is coming its way. Its arms are lined with strong suckers, some of which are topped with sharp rings. Once it makes contact, escape becomes highly unlikely. The beak in the center is strong enough to slice through tough tissue with precision. But the giant squid is a fragile creature. Its tissues are soft. Its movements are slow. Injury can be lethal. This is a creature that lives not by fighting, but by avoiding. But the giant squid is not alone in this size class. In even colder, darker waters, another squid grows heavier, denser, and stronger. And when these two giants are measured against one another, size alone is no longer the determining factor. In the coldest and deepest parts of the Southern Ocean, there lives a squid that is based on a different model. The colossal squid is measured not by its length, but by its weight. While the giant squid is long and thin, the colossal squid is fat, heavy, and muscular. It is the heaviest invertebrate animal ever recorded, and its body is designed to withstand pressure, cold, and physical struggle. Its mantle is short and muscular. Its arms are wider and equipped with revolving hooks instead of suckers. These hooks are sharp, hardened, and strong enough to lock into flesh with incredible force. This squid is not made for chasing prey. This squid is made for fighting. Unlike the giant squid, the colossal squid has eyes that are designed not only for seeing, but for surviving in the near-freezing darkness of the deep. Its tissues are more dense. Its movements are slower, but much more deliberate. Its energy is conserved, not expended. One of the most fascinating things about this squid is its system of buoyancy. The ammonium-rich fluids in its body enable it to suspend itself in the water column without constant effort, saving energy in a world where there is little to eat. Every aspect of the colossal squid cries out defense. Its muscular flesh, its fortified limbs, its hooked arms, its powerful beak that can tear through tough meat. This is not an animal that is made for fleeing. This is an animal that is made for surviving. And when these two giants are compared, the long-reaching giant squid and the massive armored colossal squid, a question arises that science is still struggling to answer. Which of these two giants reigns supreme in the depths? And this question becomes even more chilling when the only known predator of these two giants is introduced. In the dark vastness of the deep ocean, very few animals are able to hunt giant squids. Only one does so on a regular basis: the sperm whale. Sperm whales are the deepest diving mammals on the planet. They go down thousands of meters into the ocean, holding their breath for over an hour, into an area where sunlight never reaches and the pressure is extreme. Unlike squids, sperm whales do not hunt using vision. They hunt using sound. Using powerful echolocation clicks, sperm whales create a map of the darkness around them, detecting movement, form, and distance with great accuracy. In the deep ocean, sound turns into sight. The evidence of battles between sperm whales and giant squids is etched directly onto their bodies. Many sperm whales have circular scars on their heads and sides. These scars correspond in size and pattern to the suckers of giant squids, implying brutal battles fought in complete darkness. The nature of these battles is still a mystery. No human has ever observed a full hunt at such depths. However, piecing together what has been found in whale stomachs and what has been left behind in damaged giant squids, it appears that battles are long and not instantaneous. The whale has to overpower a prey that is almost as large as itself, while fighting off hooked arms and powerful beaks. The giant squid introduces another element of uncertainty. Its hooks, weight, and power indicate that some battles may be inconclusive. The whale wins, the squid escapes, or both may retreat into the darkness, wounded. In the deep ocean, victory is not always absolute. It is measured by survival. And below even these battles, there is an area where there is little food, little life, and where creatures exist so rarely that their behavior is almost completely unknown. But below the areas where even sperm whales range, there is a region that has been almost completely untouched by human observation. This is the abyss. At depths of over 4,000 meters, the pressure is crushing. The temperatures are just a few degrees above freezing, and food is very hard to find. It is here that life clings to the edges of what is biologically possible. The great majority of animals in the abyss are not predators in the classical sense. They do not hunt, they do not compete in a fierce struggle for survival. Instead, they wait. Some of these creatures, such as the Promachoteuthis, are so rare that they have only been discovered through brief glimpses on film and through damaged specimens. Their bodies are slender and delicate, almost fragile, but precisely adapted to withstand pressures that would crush all life on the surface. Life in the abyss is very sluggish. Energy is conserved at all costs. Muscle is minimized. Metabolism is slowed. Growth occurs over decades rather than years. Many of the creatures in the abyss live on organic matter that drifts down from above. What falls from the surface ocean is the basis of life thousands of meters below. A single carcass can support a whole community of creatures for years. Light in the abyss is almost non-existent. It is present when it is needed. Then it comes from the creatures themselves. Weak flashes of bioluminescence are used not to light the darkness, but to communicate, to confuse or to lure what little prey may exist. Contact in the abyss is rare. When it occurs, it is brief and decisive. Most of this world has never been seen. Large areas of the abyss have never been filmed, sampled, or mapped in detail. What exists here exists quietly, slowly, and almost completely out of human reach. And below it all is an even more extreme environment, where the ocean floor itself begins to change. But beneath the abyss, there is a region that is even more extreme. This is the trench zone, the most extreme environment on Earth. Here, the seafloor sinks in on itself, creating narrow trenches that are much deeper than the surrounding seafloor. The pressure rises to extreme levels, far higher than anywhere else on the planet. The temperature hovers just above freezing. The darkness is absolute. For many decades, scientists thought that life could not exist in this region. They were mistaken. Studies of deep trenches have shown that life exists there, but it is life that is unlike anything found elsewhere on the planet. Small crustaceans, bizarre fishes, and microorganisms have been discovered living in conditions that were previously thought to be impossible. Their physiology is different. Their proteins are resistant to pressure. Their cells operate in conditions that would be lethal to most known forms of life. Life in the trenches is even more scarce than it is in the abyss. Here, life exists in a state of near starvation, and it is dependent almost entirely on what falls from above. When organic matter reaches this depth, it becomes a precious commodity that can support isolated populations for long periods of time. There is little movement in the trench. Every movement requires energy. Some forms of life in the trench are bizarre, with bodies that are compressed and skeletal structures that are reduced in size. These forms are not aberrations. Even today, this region of the planet is still largely unexplored. Few expeditions have reached the bottom of the deepest trenches. Each time, new questions have been raised rather than answers. The trench zone is the boundary of life as we know it, and beyond it, there is nothing deeper on Earth, only unanswered questions. For centuries, humans believed the deep ocean to be a realm of monsters. Tentacles from dark water, ships sinking beneath the surface, beasts too large and bizarre to be true. These tales were explained away as fear, hyperbole, or legend. But as exploration has ventured deeper, a surprising truth has come to light. The monsters were never monsters at all. They were partial understandings of real creatures, distorted by darkness, pressure, and rarity. Giant squids that defy logic. Hunters that stalk prey through sound waves rather than eyesight. Beasts that thrive in depths long thought incapable of sustaining life. What has been discovered is not a realm of madness, but one of utter order. Every adaptation serves a purpose. Every bizarre body is an answer to a question posed by the environment. And yet, despite our advanced technology, the deep ocean remains a vast, uncharted frontier. We have mapped the surface of the moon more thoroughly than the seafloor. Swaths of the deep and trench systems remain unseen by human eyes. Ecosystems may exist undetected and unseen. The creatures of the deep are not fossils of a bygone era. They are living, adapting, and thriving. The ocean still holds secrets of life that defy our understanding of survival, intelligence, and superiority. And until we venture deeper, listen longer, and observe more intently, these secrets will remain hidden in the dark. The deep ocean is far from finished with its revelations. We have only just begun to explore. For so many centuries, humans believed the deep ocean to be a place of monsters, tentacles from dark water, ships sinking below the surface, creatures too large and strange to be believed. These stories were dismissed as fear, exaggeration, or myth. But as exploration has pushed further and further into the depths, a shocking truth has been revealed. The monsters were never monsters at all. They were misinterpretations of real creatures warped by darkness, pressure, and rarity. Giant squids that don't make sense. Hunters that track prey via sound waves instead of eyesight. Creatures that live in depths long thought to be impossible for life to exist. What has been discovered is not a place of madness, but one of complete order. Every strange adaptation has a purpose. Every bizarre body shape is a solution to a problem presented by the environment. And yet, despite our advanced technology, the deep ocean remains a huge, unmapped territory. We have mapped the surface of the moon more fully than the ocean floor. Areas of the deep and trench systems remain unseen by human eyes. Ecosystems could exist undetected and unseen. The creatures of the deep are not relics of a past age. They are living, adapting, and prospering. The ocean still holds secrets of life that confound our notions of survival, intelligence, and superiority. And until we explore further, listen longer, and watch more closely, these secrets will remain hidden in the dark. The deep ocean is far from done with its secrets. We have barely begun to explore.